Hello, welcome back. I am Fikiri, the Dark Feminina, in the name of the Almighty Kamam, the Elohim, the one creator of many names. I bid you know who you are. One's personal idea, that is our sense of self, needs developing throughout our lives. One good starting place is to know who you are, no matter how you get treated, no matter what situations you end up in life, no matter who breaks faith with you, no matter who betrays you, no matter who says and confirms that you are who you are or not. If your national insurance number ends with an A for Alpha, B for Bravo, C for Charlie, D for Delta, E for Echo, you are Royaume. You are not necessarily born to a royal family, but you are what is known as Royaume in Old Sutan. And Royaume, remember, comes from Kyalo, TuTuSi, the Nile Valley, and then thence to the southern nations of Europe, not missing out on purpose, Romania, which is also a Latin language in Eastern Europe. And the Alpha, those whose national insurance number's ninth end letter is A for Alpha. We are the Alpha, the SPSL. That is the Su Pater, Su Patria. We are the royal families and the aristocracy of the many levels, three essentially, in the world. So if your national insurance number ends with A for Alpha, amongst all the Royaume, we are actually the Alpha. If it ends with B for Bravo, you are the Beta, and then the Zeta. If it ends with C, if the last ninth end letter is D, you are the Delta. If the ninth end letter is E for Echo, you are the Eta. Now, if your national insurance number ends F for Foxtrot, Freddy, Friday, through to Z for Zulu, then you are who are known as the villein. It doesn't mean you're a villain or a terrible person. It's who you are in the divine structure that the Creator has made the world by. The heavenly realms are in orders and levels. The human world is, and the animal kingdom is. Everything in creation is in a pattern and order. And before getting to know more about Royaume or trying to explain it, it's good to remember who you are. Are you villein? Your national insurance number, the ninth end letter is is F for Foxtrot, then you are Theta, then Geta, then Heta, and so on down to Zeta. And essentially, there are two classes of persons in life. Celestial, human, and animal kind. And it is good to know when you're coming across people like yourself. And it is the Royaume, whether we are alphas, such as myself in truth, or you are beta or zeta or delta or eta, we are performed. We are performer. And amongst all our performer husband wives, we have a main husband wife who is our square, our sanduk, it's like we fit together like a romantic box. We're fit together by the Creator. Our performer, we are born married to. This only applies to the Royaume. The villein have greater choice as to who they may actually bear children with. That's for those of you who are villein. The Royaume, the Royaume we can only bear children with our performer that are truly ours and truly his, or truly his and truly his lady, wife, partner, girlfriend. So Know who you are before continuing to doubt who you are, even. Um, it's good for the authorities who are vague about these matters to know when the person you are meeting is an alpha, because when they say, however chaotically they may say it, because maybe they've come to you and you're a psychiatrist or a mental health nurse and you're wondering why they're saying they're the son of someone or daughter of someone they seem couldn't be, bearing in mind you don't know their whole family history, and parents can hide secrets and things just like the children can. If their national insurance number ends with A for alpha, at least you know they're telling the truth about that when they say they're a descendant of kings, queens, dukes, duchesses, or the literal son, daughter of, or the grandchild of, or the great grandchild of. But definitely we are. It'll either be our parents or the grandparents as to who bears the title, but that's who we are. And it is good to just honor people for being who they are. It may seem like an imposition and a taking away from yourself, but actually it's like blessing people. It brings you back a blessing. Even if the person's rude or taking you for granted, just acknowledging who they are instead of fighting who they are, save the battle for whether or not they're being reasonable or not reasonable, because the Alpha and all the Royaume, we're meant to be the best. That's what we're called to. We're meant to be examples of how to help everybody because we're responsible for everyone. And it may be fun to decide that you're not going to honor people if they're not yours, ending in the same national insurance number, ending as yours, but we're all people. But that said, it's the Creator's decision and the Creator's divine structures of life that help us through. And original capital cities, remember, they're not always where the capital city is today. In Egypt, it's Aswan. Since then, of course, it's been Memphis, it's been Amarna, Tel El Amarna, it's been well, a number of cities, hasn't it? Yes, it's been Luxor, but for the past few thousand years, it's been Alexandria. So an original capital city isn't necessarily where the capital has been, even if for 2,000 or more years. It's good to pray and divinare to know where the original capital cities are. The original divine structure is that not only are nations in order, but regions of original kingdoms are. So it's the original capital city, always located in the southeast of a country, but separate, essentially above the South Dukedoms that surround the original capital city. After the original capital city are the North Dukedoms, always beginning in the northeast. And they're in order. And the boroughs, the boroughs of the original capital city, of course, are in order, in a hierarchy of original authority standing. Then the dukedoms of the north, beginning in the northeast. Then the dukedoms of the south, beginning where Quena is in Egypt and where Oxfordshire, Oxons is in England, for example. So that's where the Oxons begin. And knowing your national insurance numbers will help you know who you are by birth, bearing in mind the Creator can swap babies from here to there for only holy, loving, protective reasons. But we don't always grow up with our birth parents. People are not always born into the family of their main parents of blood, of DNA blood. Yes, it's good to know. This knowing is all part of your Idea, your sense of self, your idea of who you are. And it's worth it. So when someone says that you're, to know that you're not a person worthy of respect. Even if you're the smallest, the least of the villein, and your national insurance number ends with Z for Zeta, Z for... Then you're still a person that God created. We are all meant to be honoring who we are before God, before the Creator, before the one Mdali, Umungu, Umundu, Umbaji, Deus, Theos, Bog, so that the Tatanka Iotake is honored. In our recognizing, in our daily affirmations, or even weekly affirmations, or when we remember affirmations, but even that's nice to get to do those regularly, because it helps build us up from within. It's a nice holy thing to do, building oneself up from within. The world likes to, I don't know, the world's full of a lot of meanness at the moment, and it's incredibly debilitating. But if you're like me and many others, you rely on the Creator. Prayer, it is the Lord who sustains me. I don't have strength by myself to get by myself. I don't even want to pretend. I don't want to try. That's about impossible. But it is the Lord who sustains. We don't have to get through life thinking that we're all on our own. Do you know how many angels there are? How many archangels there are? How many heavenly beings above them? Do you know how many netta there are? The gods of all nations. How many human beings have been born? There's a lot of people. There's a lot of netta. There's a lot of saints. And of course, the netta and the saints, being human in origin, we reflect the heavenly realms wherein they too, the pantheon netta and the saints, the patron netta and the patron saints, are in order. They're in levels, ranks, and hierarchies. And the animal kingdom always kept these matters right. They don't stress over honoring people. They love it. They relish in it. To them, they know it's happy. It's a good thing. So learning from the animal kingdom, that's a good thing to do, pray to do, because they don't sin. They have an excellent sense of understanding who is who and of looking out for who is who. If you're at the top, you are responsible for those below you. Even if they don't respect you, even if they're rude back. But we have to be careful in our responses, because we are responsible before the one Creator. Aim at being like King Arthur. Let's aim at being just and fair. No matter what happens, let us remain within holy and not go beyond law, beyond the Izwema'at, the law of the long. That gives us lots of leeway, I know, but it also gives leeway for legal laws. And I'm sure most of you don't really want to spend time in police cells and jails and court appearances and what have you, even if you're right, to be angry with the person, but we have to be wise as to our responses. So I adjure you, be prayerful, learn to stay in holy, or just stay in holy if you know what it means in truth, and avoid slander, avoid cruelty, avoid being disrespectful to people. I only ever respond at all, and very slightly, if people are like it to me. There's goodness in this world too. I don't want to spend it trying to destroy people. If people are rude to me, I may say a little something compared to what I could say, but that's all. And sometimes I don't say anything. I leave it to the Creator. I leave it to Vreem, the inner worlds. They get got somehow. They get good got. Truly, in Vreem, the inner worlds that the Creator has also made. So anyway, I wish to bless you this day, to bless the Creator, the one Creator who made law, life. The Creator, Feminina and Masculina are one. And I bless the created heavenlies, starting with myself, where the Creator placed me, the firstborn amongst all creation, even though only born in the 20th century and the 1960s. 1963. Pray about this truth, divinary it. Below me, the created heavenlies, including the local beings and the guardians of portals and roadways and buildings. And the netta, below them the archangels, and below them the angels, below them the netta, the gods of all nations, below them the saints. And then there's us here in this life, where we may be living netta and also part of this life, recognizing we're not perfect because we are still in this life. Is wise to do that. It's actually helpful. It'll help your sense of self to admit before God and to your own soul that you're not perfect. That there are things you could work on being a better-hearted person at. That takes prayer. I promise you it takes prayer. Even when you're not praying, other people are praying for you. I regularly pray for everyone, including our enemies. I seem to have loads. Yeah. But it's good to do that because the Creator told us to. It doesn't mean the person isn't mean-hearted and unjustifiably aggressive or vile or taking you for granted. But it releases blessings for you. And it can resolve the situation. And it can help along the way of resolving the situation you're in where you may feel that you're trapped. Miracles are possible, so pray. It is one Creator who is in charge of all angels and all gods and all saints. So the Adui, the adversary of the Creator, hates everything to do with the Creator, which means hates creation, and we're all part of creation, so hates us all. So we actually need prayer. We need faith, we need prayer, and to remember that the Almighty is only good, only holy, knows what the truth is of every situation and every thought, every impulse, every reason that we may or may not have done or said anything. Said anything. So that's a comfort when you know you've been misinterpreted, misquoted, misunderstood, deliberately obscured, deliberately had lies, untruths, fibs told against you. The Creator can sort it. Not always in our time scale or as we hope for, like yesterday, but the Creator's on it. So blessings for this day, and may your Idee be prayerfully, holily built up as you live your lives. Haze of blessings for that. Amen and amen. Jesus Christ is Lord. Amen and amen.